This is SpaceCoastDaily.com. We're here with Jim Barfield. He's a candidate for Brevard County Commission District 2. He's with Luke & Associates. Mr. Barfield, why don't you tell us about your background in Brevard County?
Okay, Matt. I've lived here since 1962. My family moved here in 1962, right as the space program was starting. My father was in the car business, an old Indian River Chevrolet, which was downtown Cocoa. Lived here ever since, except when I went off to college. Went to Rockledge Elementary, which they've torn down now, Kennedy Junior High, and then Rockledge High School, graduating from there in '72. Basically, this county's been a part of my life, and it's always been there. It's what I know. But I went off to college up at East Tennessee State University. Graduated there in 1980. That's where I met my wife, Darlene. She moved down here after we got married, and we've got two sons. Carter, who's a football coach at Mercer University, and they have our granddaughter Hannah, and then I have another son, Gordon, who graduated from West Point in 2009, and he is in the Old Guard at Arlington, Virginia. And we have a grandson with them, who's Wyatt, who's born in September. Gord's married to Elizabeth Hall, and Carter's married to Jenny Watson from Macon, Georgia. And our family keeps expanding. And it's been a pleasure. I mean, it's really been a lot of fun. And after I graduated from East Tennessee State University with a degree, I got a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Health. We came back down here, and my wife has a nursing degree. She's a nurse. So I went to work for the Brevard County Health Department as a health inspector, and did that for a couple of years. And then with the shuttle program starting, there were some openings at the Space Center in environmental health, so I went to work there. Worked different contractors at the Space Center until about 1987, and then I, at that time, completed my master's degree in public health from the University of South Florida, and went to work for Bechtel Corporation, a very large engineering construction company. And we worked in the remediation, investigation and remediation of hazardous waste, dump sites and all that type thing. And then moved into doing other work with them too in aerospace, especially at Kennedy Space Center, since I have a background there. But was with them until about 1991. Then I ended up not wanting to go to Kuwait to work for them, so I left them and went to work for another local company. But eventually in '94 I started my own business, a consulting company, because what I learned was working all these other companies, there was an efficiency that companies didn't normally look at, and how to do things more efficiently, which makes higher profits. And so I ended up getting into that in every company I was with, looking at how to do things better, and higher quality, better value, and save money too. And I saw there was a niche in doing that. So when I started my other business in '94, basically what I was doing was working with helping companies write their big government proposals. And a lot that goes into that, the market research and all the tactical analysis and looking at the competitive market and all that goes along with that. But also, when you build a proposal, you build it to where you're telling how you're going to do the job. And to do that, you have to show how you're going to do it efficiently and how you're going to measure your performance and all that. So that's a lot what I did. I did that for almost 10 years, but I always knew that I was going to start another company when I found the right niche market, and that's when we started Luke & Associates in 2004. It was because of contracted medical care to the military was a major need. 2 wars going on. There's not enough active military personnel to handle that. So we started it then, and myself and at the time had 2 other partners, but I only have 1 partner now, Rich Hall. And we started to do things a lot more efficiently, to be able to get people staffed and employed quickly and in place and quickly, because there was a big need. And basically it's everything from neurosurgeons to nurses to medical technicians of any kind to pharmacists, you name it. And all in non-combat zones at military installations. So we're very honored to be able to provide those care for the military. It's not just, we do the hands-on care, rehabilitation, everything for active military, but we also treat the families. And it's a very important aspect of the military. So we've been doing that and been very successful at it. So we're probably one of the largest medical staffing companies for the military right now. In fact, we are. So that's where we are today. We're still growing. It's ups and downs, and actually we dropped off in quite a bit of employment towards the end of 2012, which was a good thing because the Iraq War was ending. Mm-hmm. So the troops are coming back. But there always is a need still, and we're fine with that. Our company in 2010, Inc. 500 list the fastest growing companies. We were ranked number 3 in the country with 16,000% growth. And number 1 fastest growing in government services. We have, in 2012, we were ranked by Inc. magazine again as number 22 out of 100 companies as the Higher Power Award. Basically, that is the top job producing companies in the United States, and we're number 22 out of 100. That's an amazing honor when you look at it, because that's what our whole economy drives, is around people being at work, companies excelling, and jobs. And that was a surprise honor. We didn't even know about that, and it came up. So that's where we are today.
So throughout your career, you've noticed where companies and organizations can be more efficient, and you've noticed areas where they've been inefficient. When you look at the county, were there areas that seem to be incredibly inefficient or notably inefficient that prompted you to start thinking about running for office?
Well, actually, it didn't really prompt me to run for office.
Mm-hmm.
In any organization, especially a long-standing organization that's been going for years and years and years, there is a growth inside which is non-productive. That's in the county. It's in every long-standing organization, and needs to have a fresh look at how things are run. But the most important thing from the efficiencies within the county is the process you go through to look at how it operates and look at where those efficiencies can be gained. And there's a process for that, and it's where you go and you look at options for doing different things, but you also have to take into account the risk, the business risk we have in our business, but it's risk. What are the risks of making changes? So in reality, in deficiencies in the government, a lot of it happens because as people stay there longer, there's growth in the cost of that employee with leave or whatever, but there's also the cost of not making any changes in improving. So there's a number of areas I think within the county, a lot of the different areas that are non-emergency focused, things that are done in the normal business world can be analyzed. And what you do is you go look, you compartment certain elements of the county. Say it's, and I'm not saying this is one of the areas, but say it's just lawn care or lawnmowers or whatever, who's mowing the sides of the roads or whatever. You look at that and you compartment that and you say, okay, what does this cost in the county? And you take not just the equipment, but you take the salaries, the pay, all the add-ons to that, everything, and you come up with a price on that. So you know what the cost of that is. Mm-hmm. Then what you do is you build an RFP or an RFQ, request for quote or request for proposal, based on that. Then you put it out to local companies, and it's important to say local companies to bid on that and see what they can do, what the price is they can do it for. Mm-hmm. And if they can do it at a better price, and they have a past performance that supports the fact that they can do this work, mm-hmm. then they get a shot at doing this.
Right.
And it's tough. It's a tough call because you're going to displace people that are currently working, but we have to understand as a government, we're not a profit-driven organization. And we are driven by our tax dollars, and as the fiduciary duty is to make sure you get the best value you can out of what you have to perform. So basically what you would do is you would compete these out to reduce costs and improve efficiency. That's what you would need to do.
So what would you say are some areas that are your top concerns when you look at the future of Brevard County, including District 2?
Well, our county is, it's a dynamic, different county because there's three different parts of the county: the north, south, and central. And each one has their own needs and a little bit difference, but as a county, there are a lot of things that drive the future. The economy is definitely going to drive the future. How we get people to work, how we grow in our economy, the values of our property, because let's face it, values of our property is in a lot of cases our equity that we put in to our lives. That's what we have. Along that, the thing that can be, I believe, is the highest risk right now to that economic condition is what is the future of the Indian River Lagoon. Now, that could be years and years down the road. I don't personally think so, and I don't have a solution for it. But the fact is there's a lot of proof that the Indian River Lagoon is beginning to die. That we've had algae blooms, we have grasses, the seagrass is dying. We have huge amounts of silt coming in from like the Ogallie River area coming in. And it's not just our county. It's other counties below us and north of us too. So it's a much bigger situation than just our little community. So if it dies, if the Indian River Lagoon basically dies, our economy is going to tank, and this is why. First off, your property values drop because it's not worth to live on the river. Who wants to live on a river that's dead? The other thing is everything is driven around our tourism. All the other things go along with that. Businesses coming in want to come in to relocate people. People that are here, businesses won't grow and thrive because if you have, let's say, a cesspool in your backyard at the Indian River, who wants to be here? The implications on the economy are amazingly big, and the numbers to correct it are ranging anywhere, $100 million to $200 million just to even make an impact on it. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about things that we can actually do now to stop it. We're looking at over 40, 50 years of this accumulating, especially with the muck and the silt and all this. You're going to have interactions between the county, state, and federal. And all the permit issues that go into all that, I don't even understand myself. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of things that have to happen. Now, Florida Tech is doing some really good work right now. They've been doing it on the quiet, and now it's come up. They're doing very good analysis and looking at things very objectively on what is causing it, what are short-term things we can do to help, and what are long-term goals we're going to have to take on. And we need to support that effort as much as we can. But it's not something that's going to go away. This is not something that's just a fantasy or something. This is really a real deal. And if we don't get a handle on this soon, we're going to be past the point of no return. Other areas that need to be improved in the county. First off, if anybody's ever watched the county commission meeting or seen that that it's very tough to get anything done because there is this antagonism, because no one wants to give in one bit. And I think a lot of issues are the public not having true, I won't say confidence, but trust in what's going on. If they don't really believe they can see the whole budget, they don't understand it, they want to see exactly where everything goes. They want to understand and feel confident that their money is being used properly. And I'm all for that. I think transparency is a good thing. In fact, there's a lot of people who don't care for the sunshine law. I love it. I mean, I think everything needs to be in the sunshine because we're playing with other people's money, taxpayers' money. I mean, I have no choice to pay my taxes, mm-hmm. but I do have a choice who's going to control it. And that's important. But some of the things I think that need to change are the budgeting process, the budget workshops, for instance. The budget workshops aren't what I understand to be a budget analysis. In our company, we go from the bottom up in a budget. Spreadsheets spread everywhere, and we will know at the lowest level how that money is being spent, why do you need that money, and justify it. I need to know exactly why that has to be that much, or that many hours to do a certain job or whatever. And I believe that what has to happen is in the budget workshops that they have, that needs to go to the much lower levels down. And it may take hours and hours and hours, and so be it. It should be that. As an elected official, that is our responsibility. And so what needs to happen is each one of those directors needs to come in, put the spreadsheets up, and analyze and explain everything that's going on. Why does it take this much this year, and last year it took that much, and it's the same amount? Mm-hmm. What is the difference? What has changed? So that's one of the things I believe it needs to change, is how they work the budgeting process. The other thing, and it's another transparency issue, is I really truly believe we need to go to a 2-year budget. And what do I mean by a 2-year budget? The first year budget every year is 2 years. The first year, the coming up, that is a hard budget, as hard as it can be. And then the second one is as close as you can get it. And it's based on the future, because you also have capital projects that roll over to the next year. Mm-hmm. That can all be included. What that does for the general public, they already know what the budget is here after they've seen you work it from the bottom up. Mm-hmm. And they also know what the next year is. And they've seen you work that up from the bottom up. Now, as a county commissioner, if you want to come in and change that second year, then you're going to have some major explaining to do. Mm-hmm. Because you already brought this to the public and they've seen it and they are okay with it. And so you get to the second year, that becomes the hard budget, and then you have another budget. So you're always a year ahead looking at what's coming up. Mm-hmm. It happened, other counties in the country do it, and some of them do as many as 10 years, which I met with the Fairfax County manager up in Virginia, and they do 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just too difficult to do in our environment. But 2 to 3 years is very doable. In fact, if we go 2 years, we could maybe eventually look at a 3-year, and the 3-year just be a straw man, but still, you could get that future visibility. You add both of these together with how you're doing the budgeting with an extended budget, it leads you to another area you need to be concerned about, I think. I have not seen any strategic planning on this board. I haven't seen it in years. It's not just people that are on the county commission, and I'm not slamming them. It's just the nature of how we've been. And by strategic planning, I mean a 3 to 5 year plan. And what I propose is we have an open workshop where the county commissioners, each one go out beforehand and they look at the top 3 or top 5 things in their district, and all of them bring it in, and then hammer it out in discussions. Open discussions, all things on the table. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you really care about this county, if you truly are county commissioner and you care about this county, you are going to make it work. And so pull all those together and you come up with the top 5 or 6 out of all of that. Then what you do, okay, here's a plan to accomplish those. But then as a whole, you go through and say, well, what are our county issues we got to address? And I'm not talking about from this year, not just this year. I'm talking 5 years out, 3 and 5 years out. From there, you come back to another workshop and go, okay, how are we going to get there? What is it going to cost? How are we going to get there to make these things happen? So you're overlaying that with your budget, 2 to 3 year budget, and you're projecting and you're staying on plan. And the public sees everything that's going on and they say, okay, we know where we're going. Mm-hmm. That's a normal business process. Why can't we do that in the government?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to tell us about some of your concerns and some of your goals for the county, if elected. We look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail, and best of luck to you on the campaign.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.